Okay, guys, I did this really awesome thing where I thought I was recording before, but I wasn't, which is good because no one has walked up to talk to us yet. I am standing in Millennium Park in downtown Chicago, right in front of the Cloud Gate, which you may know as the Bean. I live here, and I didn't even know it was called Cloud Gate until I was heading down here today. But anyway, we are out in the field today because I want to talk to regular people and hear their opinions on AI development, where all of this is going, and maybe share some insights with them about the future that could be decentralized AI, and see if they've ever heard of this, and kind of go from there.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
You're listening to Brain Power.
So far, we have been slow to attract anyone to talk to us. I don't think I look scary, but maybe I do. I don't know. Most people just see people get torched on the internet and, in arguments, which is not the fundamental point of this video. So hopefully, there will be a couple of brave souls. It also, by the way, happens to be Senior Citizens Day in the park, which I did not plan for. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, hopefully we'll find a couple people to talk to. Hey, what's going on? You want to talk about AI? That'd be awesome, man. Let me get you in frame here.
For my English, because I'm Italian, I'm not familiar with.
No worries.
I'll try my best.
Are you just visiting Chicago?
Yeah.
Cool. Can we stand just right here really quick?
Perfect, yeah.
So what's your name?
Peter.
Okay, Peter. Pleasure. Welcome to Chicago. Hope you have an awesome trip.
Your name?
Bo.
Okay.
I would shake your hand, but they're full.
Yeah, I know. It's a pleasure.
So I am trying to ask people today about their opinions on artificial intelligence and what tools you're using and kind of where do you think this is all heading? And to add on top of that, do you have any concerns about what's happening in AI right now?
Okay. For my personal use, I use Ollama.
Okay.
I don't know if you.
I'm familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a local tool, so I host it on a server that's in my home. I have a home lab, a little home lab, and the LLM that I use mostly is DeepSeek one,
Okay.
the new version, because it's the reasoning one. So if I have to ask some math question, it's the best for me. And I'm not actually concerned about the future of these technologies because for the things that I have seen now, I think that the evolution of this thing will slow down recently. So sorry, I have to think about a little bit.
It's okay. Well, I actually have a follow-up question really quick. So, interestingly, you mentioned open source tools that you're using, which leads me to believe that you're familiar with the concept of decentralized AI.
Yeah.
Which it's funny, so I'm actually with a group, MOR.org, and we're promoting decentralized AI.
Okay.
And I assumed that most people talking to me would not have heard of this before.
Okay.
My question for you, though, is if you are a developer already using open source tools, why are you choosing open source over ChatGPT, Anthropic, whatever else you could be using?
Because it's free.
Okay.
Number one reason. Because I can understand how it works,
Mm-hmm.
and because I like having to do with technologies in general, so it's something that fascinates me.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's cool to have a server in your room with
Totally.
a local AI on it.
Do you have any fears over data privacy and some of these huge institutions having access to your data?
Actually, no, because I think that if they need data, they already have it.
Okay.
So if you have Instagram, they already know everything they need to know. I don't
enough.
think that ChatGPT or any other artificial intelligence will steal more data than
they already have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't totally agree with you, but I definitely respect the opinion, or the perspective rather. My core principle for wanting to be involved in this is trying to keep data privacy as much as possible. Now, I do acknowledge and recognize that we've all signed like terms of use, we've all signed things in the past that allow them to have access to things. My fear is that this continues to accelerate, and when we have things like agentic AI, I want to be able to have my own agentic representation of myself that I own without XYZ institution at best, government at worst, being able to dictate what that actually looks like.
Yeah, because my biggest fear about this technology is that if they want to put ads in it, we don't really know. So if I search on Google something, I have all the data, but it's up to me to read that and understand it. If something like Perplexity, I don't know if
Yeah, I use Perplexity, yeah. I pretty much try to use all the tools. I've probably tried it if it's out there, but if you do use something I don't use, I will try it. I'd love to try it, yeah.
No, so Perplexity actually substitute a search motor fundamentally. So I think that if you want to put some ads in it, it's very, very complicated for the user to understand what is actually real and what's it's some company sponsorizement.
Sure. So our solution for this is having these protocols run on top of blockchains.
Yeah.
So which I'm sure you're also familiar with. I know the AI crowd and the crypto crowd do not historically always get along, but my challenge to the AI crowd, or like the traditional AI crowd, would be if we have like these actions that the agents are taking done on chain, I can at least prove what it did and where the information came from.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's censored or biased, I can at least see what those things are. My concern with the central tools is I'm just trusting the output that it's giving me, and like, who knows what's on the other end of that.
Yeah, it's my fear too, because now with Google, there's Gemini that make a, I don't know how is it called in English, but it puts together all the information of what you're searching.
Like metadata.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if any corporates want to put some sponsorizements or ads in it. It's up to them. So I don't really know if what the AI is telling me is the truth, or is what some corporates want me to know about that argument.
Which is one of my primary concerns. It's both like owning my own data, but then also the censorship of what I am receiving. And I do acknowledge that there's some level of this that will exist, but we're fighting against it to the best of our ability. Is I want to support builders and tools that are trying to make, I look at it as like super intelligence for the individual, like on behalf of you, not necessarily OpenAI or whoever it is. Well, awesome, Peter. I really appreciate you taking the time, man. Do you do anything that you'd like to plug on? Is it going to be on my YouTube channel?
Okay. I don't understand the last one.
Anything you'd like to promote?
Actually, no. I just use Llama and just one thing. For the data analysis, I use Pandas AI.
Okay.
The
that one I
Python
don't
tool.
know. Yeah.
It's very, very useful.
Awesome.
It connects with Llama, and if you have to, I don't know, analyze an Excel file or something like that, it's the best thing you can do. So,
awesome, very cool.
That.
Well, thank you for the time. I hope you check out more.org.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a look, and this will be on my my podcast and YouTube channel. It's called Brain Power. So hopefully you'll be able to find us. It was a pleasure. I will shake your hand. It was so nice to meet you, man. Thank you. Enjoy your trip in Chicago.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about AI? You look like you do. Okay. No worries. Send him back over. Hi. Do you want to talk about AI? Okay, no worries. All right, you guys. Peter was awesome. How about that? Visiting all the way from Italy, already uses open source tools, which was kind of unexpected. So they're out there, right? The people are out there. Do you two want to talk about AI?
Sure.
Awesome. What's your name?
Luke.
Luke, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Bowen. What's your name?
Danny.
Danny, it's a pleasure to meet you. Can we just step over here just a little bit? Do we live in Chicago or just visiting?
Or just visiting.
Where from?
From North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. So I'm recording for my YouTube channel. I host a podcast called Brain Power, all about AI development. And I wanted to talk to people today to hear about their opinions of basically everything happening in AI right now, where they see it going, and more importantly, do you have any concerns about artificial intelligence? Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. So for me, because I work in the accounting and audit industry, so especially for the big fours, they're all using AI as a tool, especially for the associates who just entered the industry. They kind of encouraging them to use the AI as a tool for for them to understand how the industry works and, you know, to kind of help them with their audit efficiencies, especially during busy season. So I really think, you know, with the help of AI, the entire industry can, you know, have a very positive outlook in the future. However, I feel like there's still kind of a gray area in terms of regulations and the use of AIs in this. I feel like in almost every industry, almost. So.
Sure, and I imagine you can't tell me, obviously, anything proprietary, but the tools that are being used, to your knowledge, are they ran by centralized businesses?
I'm not sure, but I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask is, so the thing that I'm mostly promoting on my channel is the idea of decentralizing AI. And what I mean by that is running systems where you as the user own all of your own data. The compute that's running these models for you is not owned by one central company, it's owned by a conglomerate of places. Similar to what Bitcoin did for money, we're trying to do for artificial intelligence. And there's a big community of people trying to do this. Our fears are living in a world where we have these tools that maybe they make business output better, right? But all of that information is owned by your company, and you're ultimately training the tool that will eventually replace your job.
Right.
As opposed to you owning all of that data, so at the very least you could monetize your own intelligence. I'd love to hear from you as well. Do you use any AI tools currently?
I think I do. I'm a college student.
Okay.
I'm doing elementary education.
Nice.
And I create a lot of lesson plans or a lot of writing.
Sure.
And then I have ADHD, so I
Okay.
would just
Likewise,
dump my
likewise.
ideas, and I'm just like, help me make something out of this brain dump, and then it'll give me something like a format, or like, oh, use this idea, add more information on this and that. And I think the issue in education mainly, it comes when you use AI to take over your imagination, your
Sure.
own personal thoughts. If you're asking computer to write a whole essay for you, then I think that's when the issue comes, because you're not using your creativity, you're not using your own intellect. But when you just use it as an aid, like, oh, help me understand the topic, help me understand how to write an essay, help me organize my thoughts, I think that's perfectly okay.
Sure.
So I will be a teacher, and I think the big issue is with students using it to an advantage, like for cheating math,
Like
English.
instead of learning?
Yeah, instead of
Yeah,
learning.
I see.
I think then that's where it becomes too much of an issue, and I think some regulations have to be put in place. But I mean, there was recently where AI is not doing math for you now, so it's pretty cool. So I think, yeah, just more regulation towards how much you can really make it do for you. Like,
Sure.
Can it do your entire homework for you? No. Can it like walk you through the process of understanding a concept a little easier? That should be okay.
Okay, no, that's a good perspective. So I actually know of something that you might be interested in. So the project that I guess I'm working within, like an ecosystem, it's called Morpheus. It's more.org. There's a bunch of people within the Morpheus project building various things. One of those builders is called Ludwit, and they're building a K through university school that is DAI first. So what they mean by that is they do it's similar to like at the younger levels, and I don't work for them, so I can only give like what I do know. They do like a Montessori style learning, only each child is actually interacting with large language models, but all of that data is owned locally on the devices that they're using. So the teacher has the ability to look back and say, how did this child best learn what I wanted to teach them? Because maybe it's putting the math problem in Star Wars terms, or maybe it's putting it in some other type of branding that they're going to like want to interact with. And so far, they've had really good results with this. Now, I would argue the key is, to your point, I think, like how do you implement it? And then also from my perspective, it's the privacy that if I'm a parent putting my kid through school and they're using these tools, I don't want OpenAI or Google or whoever to have all of my kids' metadata when they're 5 years old.
Yeah.
So if I can create a system where they're leveraging these tools to learn, but they or like the school is the only person who has access to that data, that's like more of a future I would love to see and want to try to promote just kind of in the world in general. Yeah, that's kind of all I had. So I really appreciate you guys stopping. You were second of the day, so brave souls. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Have an amazing trip. Thank you. All right, so far the Chicago locals have not wanted to talk, but people traveling have. Although I am at the Bean, so maybe it just attracts more of a traveling crowd. Do you want to talk about AI? No, are you sure? Oh, send him over. I'd love to talk to him. Or her, sorry. Have a good day. Thank you. Do you two want to talk about AI? Okay, have a good day. You look like you want to talk about AI. All right, have a good day. Thank you. Maybe next time I should do talk to me about AI for $1. For one more.
Hey, I want to talk to you.
All right, let's go. What's your name?
I'm Lewis.
Oh, sorry, say that again?
I'm Lewis.
Awesome, Lewis, can you step over here? I just want to make sure we're on camera.
I'll shake your hand, but it's covered.
Oh yeah, no worries. Okay, so I am looking to talk to people today because I'm working on a project it's an open source project driven by a bunch of people, and I'm trying to get people's perspectives on what they think about where AI is today, kind of where it's going, and if they have any concerns. Mostly I'd love to hear if there's anything about AI that you're concerned about.
Yeah, so I think I'm definitely on the side of like AI is going to be like really great in a lot of ways. I think people tend to overlook that, but since I'm going through school right now, it's hard not to see that AI is like really strange in the context of education.
What are you studying in school?
I study computer science and
Okay.
I study German studies. Definitely I find it more applicable in computer science. Taking a lot of math courses, CS courses, there's a lot of stuff that AI is very, very helpful for. Your professor writes you a problem for your homework. You have no idea how to do it. There's no resources online for that specific problem or maybe in that type of problem, and AI can help you. Sometimes it lies, gives you BS, but sometimes points you in the right direction. So I think
What are maybe some of the things, you said there maybe are some concerns. What are those concerns? What would those be?
Well, there's obviously, with regards to like, I mean, even in the educational context, there's a question of like, is this replacing students' effort, and like, is this harmful to their learning and their education? Because it's like, I try to use it very responsibly. I'm not going to lie. I do use AI like pretty frequently and just in education in my normal life, but I try to be as responsible about it as possible, such that I know that I'm still getting the education. But I think that a lot of people don't treat school like that. I think especially if you're like going through high school or even earlier education, like you're just trying to get a grade or whatever, and you're going to use whatever resources you have available to you. And AI is the ultimate resource when it comes to that. I think you can't disagree with that.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. So one perspective I think is worth you considering, and somebody else actually framed this to me, but I really liked it, so I like sharing with other people, is this idea that what it means to be educated is going to change. So prior to writing things down, education meant I could memorize stories and I could be a very good storyteller throughout history. And then we started writing things down and it was, okay, I can now read something somebody else has written and I can extrapolate the points that they made and maybe write something on my own. Well, now it's going to be about how do I interact with basically an unlimited amount of intelligence relative to what we've had before, and then use that to be productive. So it's really more, in my opinion, about how do I use these tools to do the thing that I want to do, as opposed to saying this tool is somehow cheapening the outcome that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, and that's a super weird concept to wrap your head around. I know a lot of people are already like writing crazy papers about that and stuff. And I mean, I'll admit it freaks me out. I think that you're definitely right, though. The types of like what it means to be smart and resourceful with the resources that you have is going to be totally different because the resources are going to be so much more powerful. But I think it's also, I mean, you know probably better than I do about the limitations of AI as they exist right now, and probably what people are working on as like how to get rid of them and stuff. But
well, I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. You do study computer science. I studied law in college, so honestly, you might understand it better than I do.
Obviously encountering a lot of interesting ways that AI is dealing with your workforce, right? Because it's basically making it so that you don't have to look through all of these cases. AI can do it for you.
For sure, yeah. Well, and that's what I was kind of getting at with briefing. Like, human briefing is now very different because you can have it do it for you. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is the idea of decentralized AI. So the project that I'm working with, that's really what we're trying to promote, which basically what that means is you're running large language models that are open source, so you can see what they're trained on, but then also the compute, the actual hardware that's providing that inference for you, is being done on an encrypted and distributed basis, so you as the user own your own data. My biggest concern with AI is if we only use tools by Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, and they are now owning all of that metadata, you are then basically paying them so that you can train their models on your data to replace your job, as opposed to you owning that data, and at the very least you can say, okay, well, if you're going to replace my job, you're going to have to buy that data from me.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Or are you aware of decentralized AI?
I'm not aware of that. I wish I was. It seems like something I should have read about it. I stepped in gum. Nice. It seems like something I should have read about at this point, but it seems pretty important and pretty interesting. I think that it's definitely going to exist in the long string of issues about data and what it's like to even be a private entity at this point.
Sure, totally makes sense. Well, the group we're with is called Morpheus. It's more.org.
Okay.
So if you want to check it out, check us out. It is an open source project. There is no there's no centralized team or like founder.
Yeah.
It is basically a bunch of developers and people who got together and were like, let's build this.
If you know anything about computer science, that's how everything good in computer science starts.
The white paper was also anonymously published, similar to the Satoshi Nakamoto story, which I'm sure you're very aware of. So
right on, man. Well,
awesome. Well, thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks. We're getting an inflow of people now. Do you want to talk about AI? You kind of look like you do. Yo no sé. Do you two want to talk about AI? You look like you do. Come here. You don't have to ask me anything. I'll ask you a couple questions. How about that?
Okay.
Oh, and it's not. This is not a gotcha channel. This is not even meant to be political. What's your name?
Maria.
Maria, pleasure to meet you. Are you from Chicago or just visiting?
No, I'm visiting.
Where from?
Colombia.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I host a podcast and I work on a project that is focused on artificial intelligence, but more specifically, decentralized AI. Have you ever heard that term before?
Centralized AI?
Decentralized AI.
Decentralized AI. No.
Okay.
No, never.
That's okay. No worries. So that's part of why I'm here. Well, the first thing I want to ask you though is, do you use any AI tools in your daily life?
I mean, I have DeepSeek, which
Okay.
is the Chinese one.
Sure.
And also ChatGPT. Things super basics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know
So
there are some other tools, no?
there's so many out there now.
Yeah.
So what I'm really trying to get to with people is, do you have any fears about AI? As these things really ramp up, are there things that are making you nervous about what the future is going to look like? And if so, what are they?
Definitely. I think AI is replacing all the thugs, like the human thugs, and also the I don't know how to say it. Like, for example, I've heard some friends to make the graduation project, like using ChatGPT, you know, and it's weird because ChatGPT also makes like make the project to look like it's not copied from nowhere. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
So,
yeah. So
I'm
kind of like masks that it was used. Yeah.
and make
Okay.
us lazy, make us like we don't want to think anymore because ChatGPT will resolve in just a second.
Sure.
So yeah.
Are you a student right now?
Yes, let's say yes. I
Okay.
just study marketing, but
Oh,
it's
nice.
it's not like a bachelor or something like that. So it's a course.
Oh,
I
cool.
would say that I'm a
Okay,
student.
awesome. Well, okay, something to think about, because this is actually a concern that a lot of people brought up, is they basically said, hey, if I have these tools, like I don't really need to learn anything, and that's bad for society.
Exactly.
So I kind of agree with you, but I kind of don't at the same time.
Okay.
So the thing that I like to mention to people is, if we look at like what did it mean to be educated throughout time, prior to writing stuff down, that basically meant I can memorize stories because everything was storytelling, right? Well, then we started writing things down and it became, okay, I can now read something that someone else has written and I can interpret it and go create something else. So what I think is happening with AI is we're getting to a point now where I don't need to read something that someone's written because I have a machine that can read it for me, right? But how I apply that tool is now what it means to be intelligent. It is like I have access to essentially all of the information that's ever existed. How do I use that now to apply it to build something else?
But I mean, sometimes we feel that AI is the end, no? Because at the end it will interpret and will do anything you make the command. You know, if you
Sure.
tell to AI to make like a drawing or like a story. From that point, the story or a book that you're reading, and to make something with that, that's everything, you know.
Sure.
Like
Yeah, no, that makes sense. When a lot of people bring this up, that they're afraid of like their job being replaced, for example. So this is one of the things that we're really focused on. So the group that I'm with, by the way, it's called Morpheus. It's more.org.
Okay.
And more.org. And we are building decentralized tools. And basically what that means, so I mentioned that term before. The difference between something like ChatGPT and what we're doing is right now, if you use ChatGPT, first of all, that model is owned by them. So you can't really see what it's being trained on. You're just trusting that what it's telling you is true.
Okay.
The second thing is that if you go ask it a question, the computers that are actually processing that data are owned by that company. And so all of that data, you're actually training it based off what you're asking it, right?
preferences.
So the system that we're building allows the person using the tool to own their own data. The data only lives locally on their device, and the person running the compute can't even see it. And so the argument is, instead of replacing my job, if this large language model or this agent, we like to use the word agent, if this agent is learning how to do my job, I should be able to monetize that and sell it to one of these companies. So at the very least, if it's going to replace me, I'm at least profiting from it. So that's like one of the things we're focusing on. I think you have really realistic concerns though, and I really appreciate you jumping on. Is there anything you'd like to promote?
I will promote to not go against AI, but to promote the development of the human is the exercise, the workout, like to work out daily, like no matter if you're just walking around your neighborhood or just going back to make your groceries, whatever. I just promote that the exercise, like the body exercise, is necessary, so that way there is something that AI cannot do for us, you know?
Perfect, yeah. Well, hopefully you'll not have to work, and then you can, like, exercise could be your job.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I would be happy.
That would be kind of
just to work
sick.
out every day and just eat. That's it.
Listen, you and me both. That sounds fantastic. Well, thank you so much
No,
for
thank
jumping
you.
on.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
you have a great rest of your day. It's all people traveling internationally. I kind of love it. I wonder if it's like a little bit novel to be on like an American YouTube channel. Hopefully. Do you want to be in the video? I promise I'm really nice. That camera is a lot cooler than mine. That reminds me of like early 2000s skate videos. Do you guys ever wonder, I used to always wonder like how many random people's pictures you're just in the background in. And I realized by doing this, I'm gonna be in like so many people's pictures and videos. Tons of people are like, as a novelty, taking pictures of me, which is why I should probably be flipped to this side. But the problem is, and people aren't gonna talk to me because they're not gonna know what more.org is. You wanna talk about AI, I can already tell. Come be curious. This is divulged into me. Just here's Bowen yelling at strangers for 15 minutes. That's actually why I'm interviewing people. Do you want to talk about it? Awesome. What's your name?
Gladys.
Gladys. What's your name?
Sana.
Susanna and?
Mary.
Mary. So it's funny that you say that you're afraid, because this is part of why I'm out here actually. So I'm working on a project, our group's more.org, and we're working on a project to try to build AI tools that are people first, meaning that there's no central government or central company that owns all your data. We're trying to make tools where you own all of your own data when you use these tools, because, oh sorry.
They have already our data.
Yeah, yes, so this is a pushback that I've gotten actually a little bit, and you're not wrong. There is a lot of data that they do already have. Our concern is that these AI tools are accelerating so quickly that it'll get artificial intelligence. Yep, that these tools will get so encompassing that we'll end up in like a surveillance state similar to what you would see in like 1984, like a George Orwell type of future. Do any of you have any specific things that you're concerned about as it relates to artificial intelligence? I know you had mentioned that it scares you a little bit.
It's scary because a lot of stuff are false. Anybody can make anything up. Before they would say a photograph doesn't lie. I was like, everything, like we don't know what's the truth anymore. And that's what's pretty scary. Anybody can, be more fraudulent.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and people can fake even videos now.
Yeah.
And
that's my whole point.
Yeah. Well, and so these are actually part of some of the tools that we're making are trying to combat this as well. So a lot of people, have you ever heard of a blockchain before?
A blockchain?
Yeah. Have you heard of Bitcoin ever?
Yes.
Okay. So the same technology that allows that to function is a similar technology that we're using to build, only instead of us focusing on the money, we're focused on all of the data. And basically what we're trying to do is create tools where you can verify if something is original or not. Because our fear is, what does an election look like if I can have videos of all of the parties committing crimes? And like those are some of the things we're worried about. Do you see yourself, or do you currently use any AI tools in your own lives?
Translation.
For translation?
Sure, for
okay, what
translation.
tool do you use today?
Not today, but I do use, but there is something that you go in Google and you can get into.
Through the Google tool.
Right,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there is Gemini is what their tool is called. But yeah.
What is it
Okay.
called?
Gemini is the Google. That's their model that they
But it's
published.
AI.
It is AI. Yep.
Because that's
Exactly
what I
right.
use a lot too. Whenever I'm Googling something and then they ask for further questions, and
Sure.
it goes into AI, it gives me a lot of information.
Sure.
And then you kind of wonder, it's not always accurate too, 100%, and you have to be very leery about that.
Sure. Well, this is one of our concerns as well. So right now, if you use a model that's being published by like OpenAI, for example, most people have heard of ChatGPT,
Right.
you can't see what that model's trained on, and they're not going to release it. It's proprietary, and so when you get an answer from them, you're expected to just trust it because the machine said it, so it must be true. And it reminds me of the old adage that was basically like, don't believe what you see on TV or don't believe what you heard on the radio. We're just seeing that now at a new level that we haven't seen before, and that's the exact type of thing that our organization is trying to build to solve. Because I am very concerned about what a future looks like where everything that I do online, not only is it being able to be seen by these places, but it can actually be used against me. I don't have any ability to have privacy. I mean, especially, I don't know if you have like an Alexa in your home or any of these things, but they're listening.
I have Google.
I know,
Yeah.
and then I do have it, and I didn't set up. I don't have it set up.
I love Google.
I did one
Sure.
time. I was having a conversation with somebody, and he said something, and somebody said, "Alexa, that's not nice." And we just like unplugged it right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, it's
And
scary.
it was scary. It was like scary.
The
So
other day I
bought
was
it,
in
but
Google
then
and say, look, if you need somebody to help you, do not hesitate and let me know. I never, who.
Yeah,
why
or
you
your
come out
phone
with-
with Siri.
Yeah.
Totally. And a lot of people,
So how we should do in order to avoid that? Let's go to the
yeah,
point.
to more.org. Yeah. So check out our project. There is a lot of people. So basically, what this is it is a community of people, all like software developers, who've come together to build these systems together. So it's not a business. It's all people just across the world that just decided we want to come together and build this. As a project, it's more of kind of like a movement of many things, like an ecosystem, more than it's like one singular thing. And so it's kind of, okay, the cloud. It's kind of like having a cloud, but right now the cloud's owned by either Apple or Google or Amazon Web Services. This is like having access to a cloud that only you can have access to. And the other person who's actually running the computer, they couldn't see it even if they wanted to. It's not just that they won't see it, it's that they actually can't. The way that it's coded, they will not even have access to it. And so it gives you basically a sense of privacy that today we no longer have. And politicians and big companies will try to tell you that if you want privacy, you're inherently doing something wrong. I don't agree with that. I think you should have the ability to have privacy if you want it, and it doesn't make you a criminal, it doesn't make you a problem. Especially when we have volatile politics like we do today, and at any given time, somebody in charge can say, oh, you're a problem because I don't agree with this thing that you said. Well, they shouldn't even have access to that. Sure. Sorry.
That's a question. How long has this been around? Have you started this?
Yeah, so Morpheus, the project, is coming up on our second year of development. So fairly new. I've been working on the project for a little over a year now myself. And I am just one of many contributors. We have people all over the world. We have a big community in Malaysia, actually, and then also in Europe, too.
One thing is you go www, go to there.
Yep, yeah, more.org if you wanted to learn more about it. Yep.
Because I don't want to, if I make a decision, I don't want to talk with a machine or with the internet. I want to talk with a person.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, with this, it is technically still a machine, but at the very least, you're not being surveilled.
Okay.
So that at the very least, you have that benefit.
How does she know that? How do we know that? How we don't know?
That's a great question.
Something that's is new, and you don't know. Anybody could be saying that too.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so from a technical perspective, and this is where it gets, so definitely don't give me any of your personal information. I will never ask for that. But from a technical perspective, the reason I'd asked about Bitcoin before is because all of these systems that we're building use what are called cryptographic proofs, which basically means using math, we can prove that the system did what we said that it did. And so instead of, and this is one of our core functions, is instead of building a system where you need to trust me that, hey, this guy said that they're not doing this, we can actually prove with math and code that we couldn't have done that, or like we couldn't have looked at it. And that's where like the average user probably will not have the technical ability to do that for themselves. But then I would say, hopefully somebody that you do trust is ultimately promoting the tool, saying, hey, I was able to look at this code, this is legitimate, like, try it out. That's a great question, though, because the reality is most end users don't have the level of technical understanding to figure that out. I mean, that's totally fair. Yeah.
Sounds
You
good.
look like a young Elon Musk.
Oh, I want to be nicer than Elon Musk, but I appreciate
You
it
look
though.
like- are you related to
I'm not, I promise.
You want a peach?
Elon Musk?
I'm sorry?
You want a peach?
No, thank you. I really
Give us peach,
appreciate
a
it
lot of
though.
peaches.
Oh, thank you for being so kind. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Yeah, absolutely.
First time I've heard of that, so that's good to know.
Thank you. Hi, do you want to talk to me about AI? I'd love to. Can you just step right over here? Awesome. What's your name?
Abana.
I'm sorry?
Abana.
Abana. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
I might have pronounced it wrong. I'm so sorry.
Slightly off, but it's okay.
So I am here today asking people about their thoughts on artificial intelligence. And really, do they have any concerns about where this is all going?
Yes.
What are they?
So I see the good, the positive, and the negative
Okay,
for AI, right?
sure.
So negative, I think you could put somebody else's likeness and use it for the detriment of that person. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it could be liability issues, right?
So this is something we were just talking about actually. We were talking about how it's going to be very scary in like the next election cycle if I can make a video that makes both candidates look like they committed a crime, for example.
Right.
Yeah, which is bad.
Hero.
Or a hero. Yeah, no, that's a good
And they're
point.
not.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that's a really good point. So the organization that I'm with is called Morpheus. It's more.org. And we are building tools that are what we refer to as decentralized AI. And what that means is we're building tools where individual users have access to all the data instead of mega companies. Because right now, if you're using these systems, you're basically trusting that they're telling you the truth. And you're also trusting that when you use their tool and you give them your data, that they're not going to do anything bad with it. Well, I think that they're more likely to do bad with it than they are to do good with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're doing, have you ever heard of a blockchain before?
Yeah.
So all of the things that we're building are built on top of blockchains, and one of the main reasons for that, similar to what you were saying, is being able to prove that data is real. Because if I have a video, and let's say, or if you had a video rather, I'll make myself the bad guy. I don't want to make you the bad guy.
Thank you.
If you have a video and I steal it and I use AI to doctor it, but somebody can prove that I don't have the original, you have the original, that somewhat solves the issue that we were talking about, because although someone could make it look like you did something you didn't do, you would also have the proof to show, hey, this has been doctored and it's
That's
fake.
trouble. I mean,
Sure.
like inconvenience and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Well, and I think what'll end up happening, because I think we probably agree that this is going to happen. Like, people are going to use these tools for negative. And so I think it'll become more novel to do what you and I are doing right now and have human-to-human interaction, which could end up being a net positive, because you'll have to hear, you know, politicians, business leaders talk directly to you instead of just, oh, well, I need to trust what I saw on the internet, and now we might not be able to trust it at all.
Right.
If we ever could, which is
That's another thing.
a fair question, yeah.
This area.
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
I do think you can go into like a dangerous area.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
we're doing everything we can to avoid that if at all possible.
And what are y'all doing?
So more.org. So we are basically building tools that are meant to give basically AI in the hands of the individual user instead of in the hands of the business. Because our argument is, we think these tools are going to exist no matter what. We think that you pretty much can't stop it at this point.
So how do you differentiate though? How do you?
Sure. So the way that this works, at a high level,
Yeah.
right now, if you're on your phone, and do you know what ChatGPT is?
Yeah.
So if you're using ChatGPT right now, and you ask it a question, what it's doing is your phone is calling out to their server, which is basically a big data center that's hosted somewhere, right?
Okay.
And they're processing that information, and then they're giving you an answer back. Well, first of all, you don't know that answer is true because you don't even know what that model's been trained on. Right. But then secondly, all of that data that you just created by asking it a question, like let's say you said, I'm going to Chicago today, where should I eat lunch? They now know that you specifically are going to Chicago today, and they're using that data potentially, I mean, at best, they're using it to make their tools better. At worst, they're using it to surveil everything that we're doing. So the way that our system works is when your phone calls out for that answer, the person who's running the computer on the other side can't see who you are, and they can't even see the data that you're asking it. Yes, the systems that exist today, they can. Okay. And this is the thing that we're afraid of, is I don't even think most people realize that that's what's happening. And so we want to see tools where when I call out to it, they can't see who I am or what I'm doing because it's
Or your
ultimately,
address back.
right, none of it,
Well-
because it's ultimately none of their business.
Right.
And all of that data only lives locally with you. And if you want to sell your own data, that's fine, but then at least you're profiting from it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put super intelligence in the hands of the people, not in the hands of these mega corporations.
So how do they have it now?
Right now, yeah, so right now all these
Like
corporations,
Who is the mega corporation?
like OpenAI or Google or Amazon Web Services, and they're farming all of this data currently and
Oh yeah.
basically putting it in a black box and using it for who knows what.
Yeah, they're already in my phone. If I say
Sure.
something, if I'm even having a conversation with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a message. Like I did say, talking to somebody, she's a fellow photographer, and so they were talking about they were going to Pingtown for a photo shoot, and I thought she was saying Kingtown. No, Pingtown, Ping. We going back and forth. A couple of hours later, I get a message saying someone has a question about Pingtown. We just had a conversation,
Yeah, but it's listening the whole time.
but it's listening
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, and so
And
our-
I've had a few incidents like that.
Yeah, and so what we're basically trying to do is to the best of our ability, fight against that type of thing. Now, some of those things will probably exist regardless, but from our perspective, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to create alternatives. Because I personally have fears of living. Have you ever read the book 1984 or heard of 1984 with George Orwell?
No.
So basically the concept is that if the government has the ability to surveil everything that you do all of the time, I mean they do, but currently it still requires a person to step in. What if they don't need a person to step in? If they have the ability to
If we
surveil
buy
it,
their products, they're in our house.
yes.
Like the surveillance cameras.
Yeah,
in the house.
but the difference is though, today they would need a person to look through that data and determine like how to use it against you, which they could do if they wanted to. And we saw this with
If I'm
Edward
being
Snowden.
targeted.
Yes, but if they use AI tools to do this, we can all be targeted all of the time
All the time.
because they don't need a person. And that is the future that we're trying to fight against, or at least give you an option to opt out. Because I think the standard is going to be everyone opting in. And so if we can create a tool which allows people to opt out from that, that's really what we want to try to get to. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful day. More.org, exactly right. Thank you.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
You're listening to Brain Power.